So, one question that a lot of people that cover wrestling here on YouTube, some doing it for a living or a partial living, one question a lot of people have is, where has the hype gone for AEW Revolution 2023? Now, Revolution typically for AEW is usually, the first pay-per-view of the year and the one that kind of helps set the tone, the mood for what the rest of 2023 will bring. Usually kind of gives you an idea of what the matches will be like at the next pay-per-view, which would be Double or Nothing, as well as the other, special events like Fyter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, and then potentially the Forbidden Door 2 event in Tokyo. From what we're understanding, that's what it's going to be. And then, of course, All Out, and then Full Gear. It usually helps set that tone. But outside of a few matches that people are invested in, like Danielson and MJF, Starks, Jericho, Christian, Jungle Boy, and even Moxley and Page, as well, and Wardlow and Joe, outside of those 4 or 5 matches, which are going to be good matches, there's no doubt. Outside of those, what else is there to be excited about? What else is there to be hyped about and invested in when going into Revolution? I mean, yes, we have the women's triple threat match, and that too kind of has a story, but the story has kind of fallen by the wayside. I mean, is Tony Khan waiting for Revolution for it to pick up? To really start, get its legs and, run for the goal and score? Is he waiting till Revolution for that to happen? I mean, because if that's the case, then why didn't you just start it at Revolution? Why did you start it a lot sooner? It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, I mean, the match between Jamie Hayter, Saraya, formerly Paige, and Ruby Soho, formerly Ruby Riott, yeah, that match is going to be good, there's no doubt. But if you were waiting till Revolution to kickstart it, why didn't you just wait for Revolution to have Saraya turn heel along with Toni Storm? Why didn't you just wait till then? It would have made more sense. But I guess he's probably trying to hope and bet on something or someone showing up to really kickstart it. And I guess he's hoping that individual likes the money he's going to present to her. And you probably know who I mean by just referencing that. But again, where's the real hype? Where's the true storytelling and everything when it comes to that match? I mean, if you're going to play up the fact of it's going to be a match to where we'll finally see where Ruby's allegiance lies, whether it's with herself, the AEW Originals, or the AEW Outsiders NWO group of Paige and Tony, if that's kind of the story you're going to tell going into the match, then fine, that's great. Put some hype behind it. Put some meaning behind it. Even if you have to do it in the go-home editions of Dynamite and Rampage, put some meaning behind it, at least from a storyline perspective. Because by doing so, you get people invested. You get people to want to, tune in and watch that match. To buy more tickets to attend the event live and in person. Because right now, what do they got? Like 2,000, 3,000 tickets, 1,500, 1,500 tickets remaining? If you put more investment in hyping up the event, this week in the go-home editions, you can sell the place out. You can do it. You can sell it out. But you got to give certain matchups, meaning and reasoning for why they're happening. And the triple threat match is a good example of, hey, we have a story here. Let's get this story going right now before we get to Revolution, where if things work out the way Tony's probably hoping, they can really kickstart it there, off of what they start here. Like, they could lay more of the foundation that they built, if you will, already, lay more like concrete cement, if you will, and then put the first pillar down on it at Revolution. And all they have to do to put that final layer of concrete, in that foundation, or to help strongly support that foundation, is to basically, get some story behind it. Like, basically, have it be, have Dynamite or Rampage be used to question, okay, Ruby, this is the match where we're going to find out whether you're your own person or you're aligned with the originals or Paige and Tony Storm. We're going to find out then. We're going to find out then, basically. But yeah, try to put some spice behind it to hype it up. Thus, by doing so, just like you've hyped up the matches I've already mentioned, you hype up the event. I mean, you've hyped up Danielson, MJF, Moxley, Paige, Starks and Jericho, Christian and Jungle Boy, Wardlow and Joe. Those 5 matches you've already hyped up. You got story behind them, and they've been hyped up enough to where it's helping the event sell tickets. It's going to help the event sell pay-per-view buys. There is no doubt. But if you hype up more matches that are going to be included, like Saraya, Hayter, and Soho, and kind of give that story of, okay, is this going to be the match where Ruby, shows, what side of the fence she's on, then that's going to help out as well. If you look at the Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Team title match, you could get story behind that too. Like maybe you can have the Guns reveal that they went to the friend Mark Sterling or the friend Stokely Hathaway and said, yeah, they got to put it into our clause that we don't have to ever defend these championships in a regular tag team rematch against the Acclaimed, but we'll defend them in any other kind of match that involves the Acclaimed. Which would show that, one, the Guns are cowardly chicken shit heels as a tag team, but also not so smart because they're agreeing to defend in any other kind of match except a regular tag match, where the titles are on the line. And you can tell a bit of a story there. And you can even add in, okay, where does, Billy Gunn's allegiance lie? Does it lie with his sons? Does it lie with, the Acclaimed? You could tell that story too. Like, what is his role going to be in the match and everything? Is he going to help his help his son, the Gun Club, retain? Or is he going to stick with the Acclaimed? You got that you could hype up. Along with the possibility that they could say, yeah, so-and-so or our mystery friend or mystery benefactor helped us to ensure that we won't have to, defend the titles in a regular tag team match against the Acclaimed. You could do that too. I mean, do something to at least, get people invested in the tag team title match. Because you got one team left to get in there, in the go-home edition of Dynamite. Whoever that's going to be, you need to get people invested. You need to get them invested in exactly, why this match is happening and why the Guns just won't defend in a regular tag team rematch against the Acclaimed. You got to do something like that or along those lines. But the thing is, in the end, guys, because I got to end this real quickly because I got to get into work in a bit. In conclusion, the thing is, guys, yeah, they do have people invested. They do have fans invested enough to buy tickets and continuously buy tickets almost to the last minute, as well as give them probably some decent pay-per-view buys on Sunday. But the reason there is not a lot of hype is because most of them, with the exception of just 5 matches, if you will, all the other matches do not have, all the other matches don't have any hype to them. They don't. None of them have any hype to them. They have story, but where is that story at? Why isn't that story being, showcased and, on screen and, by showing it, helping it to hype up these matches? Where is it? Where is it? It does not make sense. I mean, the Wardlow and Joe match, yeah, it's getting hype because it's got story, but the whole hair thing, it's like that, that just basically came out of nowhere. But, still, it's, even though it came out of nowhere, like in the last minute, yes, it's enough to get people invested, no doubt about that. But, imagine if it would have been acknowledged maybe the week before Joe and Wardlow met in that match that Joe beat him in and then cut his hair. Imagine if we would have had the revelation the week prior in an interview with JR instead of the week after Wardlow made his return. it would have created more intrigue, more investment, and people wanting to see Waldo come back and beat Joe's ass, at Revolution. The point is, the hype, it's there. It just needs to have one more kick in the pants, if you will, to really get going for Revolution. And this go-home week for them, ladies and gentlemen, on Dynamite Wednesday and on Rampage Friday, those have got to be the shows where they kick it into high gear and give the rest of these matches that I've mentioned, along with the ones I have mentioned, the hype and push that they need, so that at the end of the week, they can get the rest of those 2,000, 1,500 tickets sold, in the Chase Center, and try to sell out that venue in time for Sunday, as well as be able to acknowledge that, hey, they got a big pay-per-view buy out of the event. And all they need to do is kickstart the hype for the other matches and get some story behind those matches and reasoning behind them on these go-home editions. Because they do that, along with all the other matches that have stories that they've hyped up, I guarantee people will be more invested basically in Revolution. They will clean out those remaining tickets. They will give that show a big pay-per-view byway, because now they have reasoning to be invested, because they are now hyped up for what is going to be presented. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Where do you think the hype has gone? And do you think they can get that hype back just in time by kickstarting that hype for these other matches that I've mentioned that need it desperately going into Revolution? Let me know down below in the comments. A little live chat doing it for you guys. I got to get into work now. And until next time, I am out. Take care.